Well, hi everyone. I'm John Rethlin. This is my review of WWE NXT from the NXT Cinematic Universe. I'm going to get a lot of hate for what I have to say about this show, I have a feeling, but you know what? Hey, I've never been one to really shy away from controversy, and I'm just giving my opinion from a fan's perspective, and I'd love to know what other people have to say in the comments. But how was this show? It was fine. It was fine. They were doing the best they could, considering they couldn't have a crowd, and they took the takeover quality matches, two of them in this case for this show, and put them on this edition. And I will say that the women really tore it up. The women started the show. Mara was on commentary doing, solo commentary and doing some really good stuff. Io Shirai, Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox, Chelsea Green with Robert Stone, Mia Yim, and Candice LeRae, number one contenders ladder match, and Dakota Kai had Reina Gonzalez in her corner. The women really did tear it up. They took some hard bumps on the ladders. There was a lot of plunder, a lot of craziness out here. Kai and Nox, renewing their rivalry, continuing their rivalry, if you will, and hitting some really good strikes and everything. They do the corner thing, or one way hit kick in the corner, the other way hit kick in the corner. Kai, Lady Kane, a choke slam, doing some pretty good stuff. And Chelsea Green, I'm going to focus on her for just a second. Chelsea Green's a really good athlete. The gimmick that she had in Impact, while it wasn't my favorite, was unique and set her apart. And she was able to do that once she left the company and was able to go on the indies and do other stuff, be the hot mess and all that. She did some pretty good stuff. Chelsea Green has the most boring gimmick of any of the women in NXT, not named Aaliyah. I mean, just seriously, Chelsea Green is absolutely fucking boring. And she is a good athlete, and putting a manager with her is a good idea. And also, somebody pointed this out to me, my friend Karen, Catwoman13, said, have they changed her music every single week? It does seem like she's coming out to a different theme like every single time. It's like they can't decide, or they keep losing the rights, or they keep losing the file that has her music. I just don't fucking get it. Enough dumping on Chelsea Green, but it's just like, as good as she is, I do not care one bit when she appears. I just don't. I haven't been given a reason to care about her. Same with Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo's better in the ring, but it's like she's always jobbing all the goddamn time. WWE has a ton of talented women outside of this match. And they had talented women in this match. I'm going to get back to it in just a second. But they got so many women in NXT, on Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK. Well, I'll just actually lump them all in there. And there are a lot of times where you get certain women featured, and then a lot like, oh, well, they haven't been on for a couple months, so let's do that. And I'm not talking since they've had to go and do the whole performing in front of no fans thing. NXT has had this problem for a while, and that's part of the reason why I only cared about pretty much 4 of the 6 people here. And Chelsea Green was selling her knee. Hopefully she actually was just selling and was just, and wasn't actually hurt, because credit to her, she was trying to work through that, but hopefully it was just her, selling a knee injury. But Gonzalez ends up, trying to move the ladder while Io Shirai is trying to get the briefcase, to signify she's the number one contender. So Io just says, okay, I'm going to dive on everybody because I'm Io Shirai and I'm just that goddamn good. Io Shirai is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I didn't say women's wrestlers. She's one of the best wrestlers in the world. She's dynamic. She is great in the ring, charismatic as hell. But then, Gonzalez gets put through a table at one point. Tegan gets thrown through a ladder that's just laying between, on the ring apron and the barricade. And then Stone tries to help Green, and they get knocked down, and Chelsea takes a pretty bad bump in the ropes. And then Robert Stone, they try to make it like Robert Stone had never taken a bump in his life. I mean, he was, in Impact for a while and actually developed into a pretty good worker. But it's kind of funny if they just forget that. Like, oh, you're a manager, be scared to take bumps and all that. And then Candice gets knocked off. And then, right through a ladder that's in the corner, and Io Shirai wins. This was a good women's match, a good way to feature all the women, and Io winning is the right call. I can't wait to see them have her job to Charlotte, which is just going to fucking wreck Io. I'm not saying it's going to ruin her, and I wouldn't be shocked if Io maybe this is a way to placate Io, since you could kind of tell as much as she's diving into this heel persona that she hasn't been all that happy. And to be fair, they have Io Shirai, and they haven't really known what to do with her. And she's had some great performances. That, part in War Games where she did the moonsault and said, oh yeah, I'm just going to dive on everybody and steal the goddamn show. So then we have footage of Balor and Walter, the whole build with that, from NXT tapings before, and then, well, NXT episodes before, and then UK tapings. I haven't cared about the NXT UK brand for a while. I've kept up on Twitter, but I haven't been able to watch it because I just only have so many hours in the day. It was supposed to be later this month for the UK Championship at TakeOver Dublin. We all know why that's not going to happen. And apparently it's not going to happen until sometime in October, which is a bit shocking. I'm actually amazed they didn't try to shoot for August, but maybe there's a reason why they're shooting for October. So that's a bit of a long build, but you know what? Balor versus Walter, I would actually be okay with that. I'm totally on board with it, even if it's going to be a bit of a long build. Hey, they could do some good stuff with it because it could sure be better than some long build that they had for something else on this show. Tick tock, here comes Cross. Another vignette for him. It's not the only time Killer Cross is referenced. And then footage of Mendoza and Wild being abducted. This is dumb. This is stupid. I know it's to form a stable, but it's still a dumb way to do it. Because it was dumb when Samoa Joe got kidnapped by ninjas, and it's not any better here. Hopefully the talent can overcome this bullshit start. And then Indus Cher, Rinku, who's the $1 million arm guy, 6'4", something, really talented. You can tell like he's like clay as you can mold. And Sarav. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I'm not good with foreign names, as you can tell. Malcolm Bivens, easy for me to say. Bivens Enterprises there. Yeah, Indus Cher and Everrise, Martel and Parker, and it was Speed versus Power. And at one point, right when they made their entrance and Malcolm is there, Morrow says Malcolm in the middle. And I popped. I wish I hadn't, but you know what? I would have said the same goddamn joke. I like Morrow. He was, for being doing a solo performance, he did a pretty damn good job here and was much more dialed down. Yes, he was energetic, but he also kept it down a little bit. Probably because I'm guessing that maybe they're going to have other episodes of NXT like next week with other footage they taped, and we might get a more dialed down Morrow. But anyway, I digress. It was a squash. The Everrise did not get in all that much offense, and the total demolition 1, 2, 3. So now we get Adam Cole running down Velveteen Dream. Bravo, you beat Bobby Fish. You're still not worthy of a championship shot. And then we get the Charlotte Rhea recaps, and then we get Charlotte interview being replayed. Bullshit that Charlotte's the NXT Women's Champion. If all these rumors are true that Rhea Ripley had an expiring work visa and had to return to Australia to take care of it, okay, that's unfortunate. If it is, however, untrue, and they just took the title off of her just because, it's still it's really fucking bullshit. Regardless, I hope that if this is true, Rhea can rectify it and can do all this stuff and can get back to being the dominant force that she is. And now we go to Rebel Heart versus Black Heart. Gargano versus Ciampa for the final time. Thank fucking Christ, it's the final time. Oh boy, this is where it's going to get controversial. Look, if I complained about Edge versus Orton going too long, and it did, and Cruz versus Alistair going too long, and the fact that the Boneyard match was a spectacle and it was cinematic and everything, but it wasn't really a match, and that's the same with Cena and Bray. This was presented at least like an empty arena match, but it was also very cinematic, and it was also, I'm sorry, this match was aggressively boring. Because I did not care about this at all. Now, I can buy into Gargano being, trying to be a heel here. I can buy into some of the stuff they did. And they hit each other really hard, and they took care of each other, but they went all out. They did a lot of stuff. This match also, I know it's the final time, but it did not need to take up 50 goddamn minutes. And yes, there's commercials and stuff like that. So actually, if you take it all out, it was probably more about 35 minutes. Their feud was great, and then it had to be put on hold because Ciampa had the neck injury, so they had to put all that on hold. Okay, I understand that. And then they're finally blowing it off here. But I was incredibly bored by this. As much good stuff as they did, I didn't care. I was counting down the minutes until they got done with this. This match had good moments, but it bored me to tears. And mainly it bored me to tears because as good as Gargano is in the ring, as good as Ciampa is, you can only do this whole fight forever thing until it just gets to where it's the law of diminishing returns. It just doesn't mean anything anymore. And Gargano's great. Gargano ain't going to be all that great of a heel. They're going to have to switch him back after this because of who he's going to end up facing. And we all know who he's going to end up facing. And if you saw the show, you know who I'm talking about. I don't know what the fuck you do with Ciampa after this. But what did they do in the match? Okay, Triple H, it starts in the ring, it ends in the ring. Once I go out that door, it's on. And then Drake's there to count not Drake Maverick, but Drake from CZW, I believe, as a referee, the overturned referee. Great referee, though. Is just there to count the fall. And they do music at the beginning, and they try to make it all dramatic and all this stuff. And we get, plunder, chairs, trash can lids, an extinguisher spot. We get a powerbomb through the table. We get peeling of the padding off the ring, so it's just the boards underneath. That comes into play a little bit later, kinda. They go outdoors into the parking lot. They go on top of a trailer. They battle. They do all this stuff. They go to commercial, and then Gargano's gotten off the trailer. Ciampa's walking back into the ring walking back into the arena with the ref, and does all this stuff. And yeah, okay, another table spot. Air raid crash outside. Ouch. Gargano escape with the crutch. We get a lid shot to the back of the head. That's a goddamn fine. And then Gargano mentioning Ciampa's family, says he's going to do this for his family. He's going to, his family's going to be disappointed. And then we get more crutch work. And oh, look, Candice is here. And then it died. And Candice is a great athlete. Candice is as boring as can be when she opens her mouth because she hasn't been given a goddamn character. She has been through a lot. She has bled. She has sweat. She has been through a lot of frickin' wars on the indies. She has put her body through a lot of shit. And her character doesn't mean goddamn shit. And it hasn't meant anything since she's been on. She's been Gargano's wife. They can't let her escape that. And it's unfortunate. I mean, I know why they did what they did because of who they're going to face, but they got to let people be separate. You got to make them their own thing because otherwise, what the fuck are you going to do if you just keep latching the same person there? It's like it's going to be, I don't know. I get why they did it, but I just still wasn't buying into it because by this point, I was just like, oh, for God's sakes, let's end it. She kicks Gargano in the groin. He goes down, and then they're talking, everything. Ciampa's like, I'm sorry, this kind of stuff. And then Candice pretends to be shocked, hits a groin shot on Ciampa, and oh, Gargano wore a cup. Oh, he hits the fairy tale ending. 1, 2, 3. Good. End it. Fuck. End it. I'm going to get so much shit for this. I know that it sounds like I'm being down on this, and I can understand why people like this, but I was done with this feud before they got to this. This heel turn for Gargano is working a lot better, but he also only has like the one facial expression. Well, he has two. He has the one where he can kind of get a little serious, but then he has the blank look in his eyes where, he looks like he's totally out of it. Anyway, we then get Candice and Gargano leaving arm in arm, and then we see, these people sitting in the car watching them. It's Killer Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux. Easy for me to say. So that's going to be their next feud. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get mixed tag match. You know what? Putting Killer Kross against Johnny Gargano, you're going to have to turn Gargano and Candice babyface because Kross works better as a heel and Scarlett will work better as a heel. So, yeah, it was what it was, but I just didn't care, and I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for it. So anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon.